Whatever you do, don't sign an apartment lease without looking for these things first.
Hey, I'm Alex.
And I'm Phillip.
And we teach you what you need to know about being a grown-up.
Because adulting shouldn't suck. In the comments below, let us know if you've ever done an apartment walkthrough or not.
In this video, we're going to talk about the things that you should be inspecting during your apartment walkthrough. We've both done our fair share of moving out, and the walkthrough you get to do before you sign the lease is definitely one of the most important parts of the entire process.
One time, I moved into this apartment and I wasn't sure of how to do a walkthrough, and I paid for it, literally. The previous tenant must have used like thumbtacks or something to hang up a bunch of pictures in one of the bedrooms, and there was a bunch of tiny little holes all over the wall. I didn't think anything of it at the time when I was viewing the apartment, but when I had moved out, the landlord had charged me for the damages and the cost to repair them. I had explained to them that they were already there when I had moved in, but since I didn't list them during that walkthrough, it was my fault and I had to pay for the repairs.
Dude, so when I moved out of my apartment in Vegas, I didn't even know that this was a thing, and I got charged like $300 for drywall repair because I used like the anchor screws, so they left big fat holes, and I don't know, it was like 6 of them to hang posters, or not posters, but pictures, or a shelf that I had on the wall. Anyways, it's like $300.
Yeah, it's
and it would have
ridiculous.
been easy repair, and I don't mind taking me like 30 minutes. I had to learn that the hard way too. All right, so you found a place you liked, you turned in your rental application, and it got accepted, and now it's time to do the walkthrough for your apartment and do the inspection of the property before you sign the lease.
You might be saying, but Alex and Phillip, I've already viewed the apartment online, or I viewed it before I turned in my rental application. And that might be the case, but more times than not, the apartment that you saw online or the apartment that you viewed when you were there in person might not be the same apartment that you're going to be moving into. And even if you were going to move into the one that you were checking out, you weren't inspecting it and you were just viewing it. And there's a difference.
When you're just checking out the apartment, you're there to see if the layout is something that you like or that you don't like, and to see if you can envision yourself in that place, and then to figure out, like, does it fit your stuff? Whereas when you're doing an inspection in the place that you want to move into, you're there to check for damages, and you're also checking to see if everything is functional and if it works.
Before you guys take out your note-taking material, we want to let you know that we've made a free downloadable checklist for this video, so you can take it with you when it's time to do your walkthrough. To download it, all you got to do is click on the link in the description and bring it with you when you go.
Okay, so first off, you're going to want to take your time and be really thorough with the inspection, because the things that you miss during this inspection can be blamed on you. Just like Phillip was saying, right? He had to pay for stuff. He got charged because he didn't have it listed on the initial inspection. So don't make that same mistake. And don't let the landlord or the property manager rush you through the inspection process, because the faster they can push you through this inspection, the more stuff you're likely to miss.
Secondly, you're going to want to make sure that all of the deficiencies are being listed. The landlords typically have some sort of checklist that they give you and allow you to list anything down that might be broken. But if for whatever reason they don't provide you with a list, then it's your responsibility to take notes on things that are damaged.
When you're doing a walkthrough, you're going to want to check every single room in the house or the apartment or whatever it is that you're renting. And you're going to want to make sure that if it has a door, you open it, you close it. If it has a window, open it and close it. If it has curtains, open and close those too. You want to make sure that everything is functional.
Yeah. It might sound silly, but this is what you have to do when you're doing the inspection. We recommend starting your walkthrough in the room where the front door is. Does the front door open and close correctly? Is the weather stripping around that door? Is it intact? Is the door frame damaged? Do the locking mechanisms on the door work correctly? Were the locks replaced after that last tenant had moved out? If you have a back door or a glass sliding door, you're going to want to do this exact same thing to the back door. And you're going to want to do it to the closet doors, the bathroom doors, and the bedroom doors.
Next, walk through the apartment and turn on all the lights. Once you're done fully inspecting a room, turn the lights off. This is going to help you keep track of what you've already inspected and what you haven't.
Next up, let's check the walls. Remember my story in the beginning of this video? Yeah, You're going to want to check for the holes in the wall from pictures being hung. You're also going to want to look for brown stains on the ceiling or on the walls because this could be an indication of water damage. Additionally, you're going to want to make sure that all of the paint on the wall is in good condition and all the same color.
Dude, I did not check for this either when I first moved into my very first apartment. And sure enough, we had like a major windstorm, and then that was followed by a major rainstorm. And the windstorm ripped off all the shingles on my apartment, and then the water just poured into the ceiling, and it already had a leak, and I didn't know that. And I woke up at like 2 a.m. to my roommate like screaming my name, like, Alex! And I ran to his room thinking like, I don't know, if the dude was hurt or something. And he was like literally holding this bubble in the ceiling. And he's like, what do I do? Like, oh, we move all your expensive stuff. That's what we do.
Yeah. Run!
And so then I moved his computer and everything out of the way. And he's like, go get some buckets. I'm like, dude, we live in an apartment. I don't have any buckets. He's like, well, get the biggest freaking pots that we have. So I went and got the biggest pots we have, which weren't very big. I mean, we cook like noodles on them or whatever. And then he's like, I'm going to poke a small hole in this. And then we're going to like drain the pots. I'm like, that doesn't sound like a good idea. But whatever. So he goes, boop. And he poked a little hole in it. And the whole thing went, whoosh. And exploded all over his room. And it must have been like 100 gallons of water. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But had we actually done our due diligence and looked for these brown stains on the ceiling, we probably would have known that was going to be a future problem.
Yeah. I mean, it's important that you look for these water damage spots because if they weren't repaired or fixed, you can have mold, which could cause like health problems for you and whoever else lives inside of your apartment with you. So you want to check for this stuff. It's super important.
All right. So you're going to want to check the windows too. Make sure they open and close correctly, that they're not like wonky. Look at the seals around it. Make sure it's sealed correctly. That means, is there a gap anywhere between the wall and the window? If there's a gap between the wall and the window frame, or between the window frame and the window, and if there is, then it probably just needs some new caulking. But if the caulking is bad, then spiders can come through, or air can get through there, and then your electricity bill is gonna be higher than it should be because your windows could be drafty.
Yeah. Since we just got finished with the windows, let's look at the blinds or the curtain. These are going to be big deals because they break all of the time and they're expensive to replace. You're going to want to make sure that they open and close easily. I mean, this means that they go up and down. When you turn the little thing, they turn left or right, however they're supposed to go. You also want to make sure that all of the plastic shutters are there and they're not damaged. If you have a backsliding doors with those plastic curtains that turn like this, the top part of those, they break all of the time. And if you just like touch it, it'll fall out. But if you do it correctly, you can stick it back in there to make it look like they're working, and then they'll just fall off whenever you touch them or the wind blows and they're like
you sneeze,
boop, and then they fall off. So make sure you check those out.
After that, look at the floors. Inspect them for how they look. If you have carpet or tile or laminate, regardless of what type of flooring you have, you're going to want to inspect it for damage or stains. And if you've got carpet, check to see if it's frayed anywhere. Look and see if there's any kind of stains. Does it stink? Does it smell like animal urine? Quick example, my parents bought a house back in 2020, and they had to wear a mask the entire time as they did the walkthrough. And they had no clue that the carpet smelled like cat piss. It was gross. And then when it came time to move in, they realized that they had to spend thousands of dollars replacing all of the carpet throughout the entire house. And I know this is a video about renting, but the same thing applies. If for whatever reason you had to wear a mask through your walkthrough, take that freaking thing off and get a good whiff of the place. Oh yeah, suck it in. Make sure it doesn't smell like urine or mold or whatever other nastiness you can think of. All right, anyways, moving on from carpet to tile, laminate, or hardwood. You're going to want to look for cracks or damages because all that stuff is expensive to replace. So make sure you document any damages you find.
So we've checked the floors, we've checked the doors, we've checked the walls, and now we've checked the windows. So let's go to the kitchen and check that out. In the kitchen, you're going to want to check all of the cabinet doors. Do they open and close? Are there shelves inside of those cabinets? Are there any dead bugs or animal droppings inside of the cabinets? How about under the kitchen sink? Do you see any water damage? Water damage could be like swollen wood to where it looks puffy while the rest of the wood looks hard and normal. Water damage could be like a dried water spot to where there's like a ring around the floor and the cabinet. Does it smell like mold, rotten bread? If it does, this could be a sign of a leak or a previous leak, and you want to make sure the landlords know about it. How about those drawers in the kitchen? Do they all open and close? Is there any damage to those doors? Like, are they frayed? Is there cut marks? Whatever. And then how do the countertops look?
After that, you're going to want to look at all the appliances. Open the fridge door, close it. When you open it, does the light turn on? Is it cold in there? Do the drawers inside the refrigerator open and close? Does a freezer feel cooler than the fridge? I mean, let's hope it does.
Yeah. If you have a dishwasher, you're going to want to make sure that the dishwasher door opens and then close it. You want to make sure that those trays inside of the dishwasher open and close. You're going to want to start the dishwasher and see if it actually starts. I mean, you can shut it off or you can let it run while you do the tour just to see if there's any additional leaks or any leaks at all.
All right, so after that, you're going to want to check out the stove. Turn on all the burners. Did they heat up? Obviously, you shouldn't touch them, but you can hover your hand over the burner. Make sure you can feel the heat. You can open the oven door, check the trays, make sure they pull in and out. Close the oven door and then turn it on. Same thing, preheat it. Make sure you can feel the heat coming from it after a couple of minutes. Mm-hmm. These are all really important things because if they're broken now and you move in, it can take a while to get them fixed. So make sure you get them fixed before you move in. Nothing's worse than moving into a place and having to wait days or weeks or sometimes months to get stuff fixed.
Yeah, it sucks. All right, so the cabinets work and they don't smell like mold. The drawers work, the refrigerator is cold, the stove is hot, and the dishwasher doesn't leak all over the kitchen floor. So far, things are going great. Now, before you leave the kitchen, turn on that kitchen sink. Turn it on the cold water. Is it cold? Turn it on the hot water. Does it get hot after 10 or 20 seconds? Does your sink have that little handheld nozzle thingy? If it does, grab it, point it in the sink, and press that little button. If it works, great. Shut everything off, and let's move on.
After that, you're going to want to make sure all the outlets in the apartment work. You can bring something like a nightlight and plug it into every single outlet in every room, and if it lights up, the outlet works. You want to make sure and test both plugs, both top and bottom. Just because one works doesn't mean the other one's going to work. You can also bring your cell phone charger if you don't have a nightlight and use that instead, if that's easier. I know I've got kids, so I have lots of nightlights, so whatever.
All right, let's go into the bathroom. In the bathroom, the lights should already be on, but if they're not, turn them on. Check for that ceiling fan and make sure that that thing works, and then check in the plugins, like he was saying, to make sure that those work.
After that, you're going to want to check the sink, just like he was talking about with the kitchen sink. Is the cold water cold? Is the hot water hot? And does the faucet turn off all the way, or does it still drip afterwards? How does the sink drain? You're going to want to let the faucets run for a while, at least a minute or so, and then check for standing water in the sink and make sure that the drain is actually open. And if the water doesn't drain or it drains slowly, that means your sink is clogged. Mm-hmm. And then lastly, you're going to want to make sure that the drain opens and closes like it's supposed to.
Yeah. Now let's look at the shower. Turn it on. What's the water pressure? Me, I will 100% not move into a place if it has bad water pressure.
Sucks.
Nothing drives me nuts more than bad water pressure and low shower heads.
Dude, I hate when the shower head hits me in the chest.
Oh, it's so obnoxious.
Punch over because it's a low shower head.
It's the worst.
Yeah, it sucks. If it's a shower tub combo, does the thing that you pull up on the shower, does that work correctly? On the little faucet? I actually had to look up what it was called because I've never even thought about it before. But just so you know, not that you probably care, but that thing is called a diverter. Probably because, it diverts the water from the shower head to the tub. So when you pull up on it, does it stay up? Does it go down when you push it down? Does the tub drain? Does it work when you need it to work? Or do you actually have to plug it because the drain doesn't work? How does the tub look around the rim, right, where it meets the wall? Is that all puffy? Does it need new caulking? Or is the caulking fully intact? Is there holes in it? You want to look for that kind of stuff. And then at the bottom where it meets the floor, is that all warped and swollen and puffy looking like he was talking about underneath other sinks? Because if it is, there could be water damage, and you don't want to have to pay to replace that. And it could be soft, spongy wood or just that fat, swollen looking puffiness to it. And if it is, make sure you document it because that is so expensive to fix.
Does the toilet flush? Does the seat lift up and go down? Is it tight? Does it wiggle when you sit on it? Because that drives me nuts.
I hate that.
Absolutely drives me nuts. Additionally, you want to look at the flooring around the tub around the toilet, just like you did the tub, because both places like to condensate and have water kind of leak down and around them. So you want to make sure that there's no water damage on the floors. So give them a good look.
All right, so next up after you're done with that is the bedrooms. It's not too hard, but just like with every other room, you're going to want to check the lights, make sure that they work. If you have a ceiling fan, make sure that works too. Check all the outlets like we talked about. Don't assume just because the top one works that the bottom one does too.
Mm-hmm. Additionally, like we'd said earlier, you're going to want to check the walls for any holes or other damage. I can tell you that I'm still pretty upset that I had to pay for those holes in the wall that I didn't even put there. After that, you're going to want to check the bedroom windows to make sure that they open and close correctly, that they're sealed correctly, and that they're not drafty. You're going to want to make sure that the blinds open and close, and that if they're plastic, the little shutter pieces aren't broken, damaged, or missing.
All right, so don't forget to check out your closet too. Did the doors open and shut correctly? Is the shelving system inside, is it secured and not damaged, or is it loose and wobbly? Because, that's going to rip out of the wall. So make sure you check the floor in the closet too. See if it has any smells or frays or any kind of damages or stains, because unfortunately sometimes animals, pee in people's closets.
I like closets.
Yeah, it's gross. Actually, he has a cat that used to pee in his closet. Pretty sure he wanted to kill that thing.
I did. All right, so there's just a few more things that you're going to want to look for before you close up that walkthrough. If your place is equipped with a heating and cooling system, you're going to want to locate the thermostat and turn on the heater and see if the heat turns on. You're also going to want to do the exact same thing with the air conditioner. You don't want to find out that the heater doesn't work when it's freezing cold outside and
it's the middle of winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, or in the summertime.
It's ridiculous. After you check the heating and cooling system, you're going to want to locate all of the smoke detectors and press the test button on all of them. They should make a loud beeping noise, and if they don't, then they're probably dead and they need to have the battery replaced that's inside of them.
Yeah, you don't want to find out that either.
No.
In an emergency. If your new place is equipped with a washer and dryer, it's a great idea to check these out and see if they work. All you got to do is turn on the washing machine and see if it turns on and does what it's supposed to do. And then turn on the dryer for like 5 to 10 minutes and then, check to see if it gets warm or not.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
Yep. So let's locate the hot water tank. There isn't anything that you can really inspect on these water tanks because all of the stuff that makes them work is on the inside. But it's still super important to know where it's located.
And then same thing as a water tank, you're going to want to know where the circuit breaker box is at. There's nothing really to inspect there either, but it's good to know where it's at. And, if any of your plugins didn't work when you tested the electrical outlets, it could have been because the circuit breaker was tripped. And if a breaker is tripped, a simple reset just fixes most of the problems.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the breakers should be facing to the right. If there's a breaker facing left, that means it's off. All you gotta do is switch it back over to the right to turn it back on. And if you're not comfortable with messing with that kind of stuff, then tell the landlord, have them switch it back on. And then if you did have any plugins that didn't work previously, test them again and see if that fixed the problem.
Yep. Lastly, if you're lucky enough to have a porch or a deck, just go out there and make sure that it looks like it's in good working order. If it's a wooden deck, check that condition of the wood. Is it hardwood like it's supposed to be, or is it soft and squishy and flexes when you stand on it?
No good.
If your deck looks really old or weathered, you want to make sure that it's safe to be on.
All right, so you check the front door, you check the walls, the windows, the power outlets, and the flooring and the deck. You touched all the stuff inside, and the kitchen, everything turned on and off, and it seems to work like it should. The toilet flushes in the bathroom, the sink drains, the hot water works. There's no water damage on the floor next to the shower, and the bedrooms seem like they're good to go.
Whew!
It's a lot.
If you did find any deficiencies, document them and turn them into your landlord. Hopefully, the landlord will have them fixed before you move in. A pro tip, just for you to remember, have your landlord put it in writing on your lease that they will fix whatever things are broken or damaged. Make sure that everything you found is included in your lease documents so they can't pull a fast one on you and charge you for it when you move out. Or say that, oh, well, we never fixed that or whatever.
Never said we would fix it.
So don't take their word. Make sure you get it in writing. This is a contract between you and them. And if it's not in writing, then you can't hold them to it.
Yeah. Remember, doing a walkthrough is important. So don't rush through it.
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. In the comments below, let us know which part of this video you thought was most helpful.
And we'll see you in our next video.